Sean Myrie. Breaking news, right? In Toronto, the 6th, Schoolboy Q show has been canceled. It's been canceled. It's crazy. It was supposed to be in the East, Toronto, a place called History. Drake performed there for his OVO opening show, 2000, I think, 2023. He had the Northern All Stars with all the Toronto greats or legends on a show before he done his world tour or whatever he was doing, right? So now, fast forward, the beef, the Toronto beef with, oh, not the Toronto beef, let me correct myself. Drake beef with Kendrick Lamar. All of this is the influence of that, is the main reason Schoolboy Q's show got canceled. It got canceled because of the beef. The Toronto police got so much, is influenced by Drake also, that they canceled, or rumored that they probably called the venue, mentioned that it's a danger to have Schoolboy Q perform at that venue in Toronto. I've seen this before. That's one reason a lot of Toronto hip hop artists can't perform in Toronto too, because, not to say they don't bring it on themselves, but because of the police. The police calling venues, boycotting what's gonna happen, the show. Cancel, influencing the venue to not put it on. Now they graduated to industry artists. They're talking to venues to cancel industry artists, anybody who's associated with Kendrick Lamar. They put it out there. Anyone from the TDE camp, they can't perform here. Listen to that. That sounds like a kind of little influence from somebody. And I don't know if this is fact, but I'm hearing that Drake is behind designing that venue, right? History. Whatever new design it is, he's behind influencing that. So now, right, one of the biggest hip hop albums out right now, Blue Lips by the artist Schoolboy Q, can't perform in Toronto. How does that make us look? Really? How does that make us look? Does that make us look good or bad? It doesn't, it makes us even look more bad that the police is stepping into this whole thing now. Schoolboy Q stood with, well, he still stands with Kendrick, right? And people do watch blogs and they're on the internet, and he was part of influencing J. Cole not to continue with any beef, basically giving them a warning. So do these cops do their research? Some of them probably listen to hip hop. Some of them do listen to hip hop. But this is the news, what is going to be circulating around everywhere. Academics, Joe Budden, and the other pods, including us. But we're straight from the 6th, straight from the place where everybody's going to be talking about. So Schoolboy Q is very angry. He expressed himself already online, right? So imagine he's probably maybe already down here or came, maybe, I'm not sure, but they already canceled that show. Maybe they mentioned that they can't guarantee safety for him. maybe it's what they've seen in Vancouver. They don't want that to happen in Toronto. And he's associated with Kendrick Lamar. He's a TDE artist. But there's people in Toronto who want to listen to ScHoolboy Q. There's people in Toronto who are fans of ScHoolboy Q. There's fans. Same with, there's a lot of fans for Kendrick Lamar. You gotta stop this bullshit. Now you got the police stepping in. They know about beef? The police know about beef? Or is there a snitch on top of it? What they like to call snitch. That's a big word out there. Who snitched that ScHoolboy Q, which is public, was gonna perform in Toronto and the police know about it and took action? What do they know? Like, okay, everybody's hearing about this Drake Kendrick Lamar beef, but do they know who ScHoolboy Q is? Like, respect to ScHoolboy Q, but he's not as big as Kendrick Lamar or Drake. So they had to do their research, right? They done their research. I don't know, man. First you got Dr. Umar saying something. Now, on top of it, they cancel this man's show. You know what? It's kind of a pattern. Is this trying to be like a anti-American thing going on? Because let me tell you something. A couple weeks ago, Dr. Umar Johnson was supposed to come to Toronto. And you know what they done? Well, I don't know if it's them, but he couldn't come. He couldn't come. He had to go back. He had to go back or stay in America. So is this whole Drake, Kendrick Lamar thing creating this anti-American energy, not to not to make them come here to do business? Is that a good move? Because that's what it seems like. It seems like there's a movement of anti-Americanness, and they could do the same thing. I don't know if that's a word, what I just said, but that's what it seems, that's what it looks like. Not to mention, ScHoolboy Q has like one of the biggest hip hop albums this year, Blue Lips. It's getting celebrated, like I mentioned, big reviews from a lot of hip hop platforms. Blue Lips. I listened to some of it. It's a jazz hip hop fusion with a West Coast influence. It's big. I listened to most of the album. You know, everybody has their taste and everything. He's a good artist, but I wasn't feeling the entire album. I wasn't feeling I know it's trying to be abstract and everything, but I wasn't feeling the whole album. Maybe I have to listen to it more than once, like how I had to listen to the Eminem album. But yo, Toronto police been doing this. Me and my brother, we were supposed to cover a show a couple months ago, and the Toronto police shut down that show. They tried to get another venue. They shut down that venue. They tried to get a third venue, and they shut that down. They refused. They wouldn't stop. They wouldn't stop because they mentioned somebody on that show must be of interest to them or is not supposed to be on it. But 3 times they came after the promoters. So this is a trend, and they have done it to other hip hop artists from Toronto, right? Even in like Pressa going to Europe. I saw a documentary. They called all the way from Toronto to influence the English police to make him get that canceled. There's other artists from Canada that's been in other places in Canada, and they be calling them too to get that canceled. That what it no, now we look on it. I don't even think it's just anti-American thing. I think Toronto police are discriminating against hip hop, hip hop events, hip hop shows, hip hop artists. It's kind of like straight to say racist because majority of the artists are black. So it's not that they just canceled ScHoolboy Q show because of Kendrick Lamar and Drake. They've been canceling a lot of hip hop shows because they say they're scared of the environment and maybe like, you know, the stereotypical thing because the music talks about certain things. People have enemies. This is bad though, because all people are gonna bring up is Drake. But they've been doing this. Toronto police are targeting hip hop in Canada, right? So we have a big number of hip hop police. They're very in tune to what's going on. Because if they weren't in tune, they wouldn't give a damn. But they do care right now for them to make a call to that club history and influence them. They probably said, if anything happens, we're going to take away your license or charge you or something. Or basically telling them that you need us to be the security. Because that's what they'll do. They'll say that we should be the security. The Toronto police, you got to pay them. It's crazy, man. And it's not like he's like just any artist. This is probably a artist, industry artist with awards and everything. ScHoolboy Q. Now this is like one of the biggest stories right now on the internet for like hip hop or even just anything like media, that his show got canceled. So now it's gonna, you know, a domino effect. Will this be a domino effect to other artists who try to come to Toronto, especially from the West Coast? Respect to Snoop, they couldn't stop Snoop and Quick and them from coming. The other day they had a countrywide Canadian tour. They loved it. No police, no type of authority stopped Snoop. Corrupt and Daz were here. Corrupt, Daz, Snoop were here. DPG gangsters or whatever, you know? They were in Canada for about a month. About a whole month they've been here. They were here. Warren G too. Now ScHoolboy Q comes. And all of a sudden he's targeted. Drake probably knew all about this and say, okay, when he comes, or when it's time for him to come, let me just make a call or, you know, cancel this show. Don't make him make no money down here. Make him find somewhere else. If that's the case, you're a waste. If that's the case, you're a waste. But people, subscribe, like, and comment. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to the Down to Earth Network. Now, from this whole situation, what will happen? What will happen from this? Hopefully, I'm hoping that there's no more of this shit, because we look ridiculous. Trust me, we look ridiculous. And I hope ScHoolboy Q could come back to Toronto and perform because he has fans here. And he's losing money just because of this situation with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. So, bless up to everybody. It's your host, Sean Myrie of the Down to Earth podcast. Please subscribe.